This is South Station Tower, a $1.5 billion project that promises to redefine Boston's skyline. At 51 stories tall, the tower aims to create a dynamic hub where people can live, work, and play. Set above one of the busiest transit centers in the Northeast US, it aims to modernize both the city's infrastructure and urban landscape. But the journey has been far from smooth, with a series of delays and cost disputes, plus controversy over its focus on luxury condos amid a growing housing shortage. The project has ignited debate about Boston's development priorities. Can this tower help draw additional investment to advance Boston's skyline and solve some of its modern challenges? Let's find out. Boston has a rich and evolving history, transforming from a colonial stronghold into a global leader in industry, innovation, and education. From its pivotal role in the Revolutionary War to its prominence in biotech and finance, the city has continuously reinvented itself. Its historic streets, world-class universities, and cutting-edge industries solidify its reputation as one of America's most influential cities. However, Boston's skyline has long been shaped by its proximity to Logan International Airport, with height restrictions limiting the city's high-rises compared to towering skylines in New York or Chicago. While Boston is known for its impressive architectural heritage, its skyscrapers have historically been modest. But now the city is taking bold steps to try and redefine that skyline. At the heart of this transformation is South Station, Boston's iconic transportation hub. Strategically positioned downtown, it connects the financial district, the waterfront, and major transit lines. As I mentioned in the intro, it's one of the busiest travel centers in the Northeast, and it accommodates tens of thousands of passengers daily via Amtrak, MBTA commuter rail services, and regional bus routes, making it an essential gateway for both local commuters and long-distance travelers. First opened in 1899 to consolidate Boston's rail terminals, South Station quickly became New England's busiest station. Over the years, it faced numerous challenges, including the removal of its train shed in 1930, the post-World War II decline of rail travel, and partial demolitions in the 1960s. A historic designation saved it from further losses, leading to MBTA ownership in 1978 and major renovations in the late 80s and into the 90s. Soon after, plans emerged for a skyscraper above this station. By 2000, opposition to the project grew. Critics feared it would disrupt Amtrak's plan for an express train and prolong construction. Backed by celebrity supporters, opponents distributed leaflets and urged commuters to pressure the governor to halt the project. These efforts, along with logistical hurdles, delayed the development for years. After receiving a rare exemption from the Massachusetts legislature, the project finally began to take shape. Initially approved for 2.2 million square feet, it underwent height reduction and design changes over the years. Tufts University, an early partner, withdrew in 2009, prompting developer Hines to revise plans in 2016, increasing the residential component. With approval secured later that year from the Boston Planning and Development Agency, construction was slated for 2017 but faced additional setbacks. It wasn't until February 2020 that groundbreaking officially occurred, kicking off a 5-year timeline to reshape Boston's skyline. The South Station Tower will be a 51-story, 678-foot mixed-use skyscraper designed by Pelly Clark and Partners. The tower will span around 1.1 million square feet, with just over 700,000 of it dedicated to office space and around 300,000 covering 166 luxury residential condominiums. The building will include a 6-story parking podium with retail spaces at the base, followed by high-end office space with Jones Day Law Firm already signed on as a tenant. Above that, the skyscraper will house the Ritz-Carlton residences, offering luxury living with high-end amenities like a 40,000 square foot sky park and sweeping city views. The condos range from junior one-bedrooms around 700 square feet to large penthouse duplexes. Prices for these units start at $1.3 million and go up to $14 million. But more on this in a minute. The tower will feature an illuminated crown structure at its peak, enhancing Boston's skyline and serving as a prominent architectural element. But the tower isn't the only thing being worked on. Currently, South Station's rail and bus terminals operate as separate buildings, making transfers between them inconvenient. The project aims to streamline connectivity by integrating both terminals into a seamless hub, allowing for direct transfers between rail, bus, and subway services. The project also includes a 67% expansion of the outdoor concourse, creating a more spacious and architecturally distinctive gateway to the city. All tracks and platforms will be fully covered, enhancing passenger comfort and the overall station experience. Additionally, the bus terminal will see a more than 50% increase in capacity, improving efficiency and accessibility for commuters. The tower and transport center are expected to finish up in mid-2025. After the completion of these, 2 additional phases will most likely follow. Phase 2 will add either a residential or hotel building above the newly expanded bus terminal, providing 440,000 square feet of space and 368 additional parking spots. Phase 3 will introduce 510,000 square feet of office and amenity space above the existing terminal. In total, the three-phase project will deliver just short of 2 million square feet of mixed-use space, further transforming South Station into a major transit and commercial hub. But as you can imagine, it hasn't all been positive. As impressive as this project is, it hasn't been without controversy. And I'm not just talking about the construction mishaps, like the fire or the falling debris. The main concern among the public is that this tower primarily caters to luxury condo buyers. By late 2023, Boston was already grappling with a housing shortage, with new apartment construction steadily declining over the 3 years that preceded it. Affordable and even moderately priced housing, particularly for first-time homebuyers, has become increasingly scarce, not just in downtown, but across the greater Boston area. Critics argue that developments like this, which prioritize high-end residences, only deepen socioeconomic divides and further squeeze out middle and lower-income residents. Was this project ever meant to help solve Boston's housing crisis? Common sense would tell you no. But whether it's a missed opportunity or simply a reflection of the city's development priorities, that's up for debate. Another point of contention is the inclusion of 500 parking spaces directly above a major public transit hub. Critics argue that this contradicts efforts to promote public transportation and reduce car dependency, especially in a city striving for more sustainable urban development. Another major point of frustration was the series of delays that plagued the project from the start. Initially expected to break ground quickly, progress was repeatedly stalled due to disputes over construction costs and how expenses would be divided among the MBTA, Massachusetts Department of Transportation, and private developer Hines. Building directly above New England's busiest rail hub also introduced significant engineering and financial challenges. Reports indicated that necessary design modifications such as mezzanine level access and elevated elevator banks would drive up costs, fueling skepticism about the project's feasibility. Negotiations over funding responsibilities dragged on, causing further delays. While some viewed these setbacks as expected for a project of this complexity, others saw them as yet another example of Boston's struggle to balance large-scale development with the realities of its aging infrastructure. On a slightly more positive note, the funding structure of the project appears to be primarily private. The total redevelopment project, which includes the tower, transportation center, and more, is estimated at $1.5 billion. While the full cost breakdown hasn't been publicly disclosed, the tower portion seems to be largely, if not entirely, privately funded. Developer Hines secured the air rights for $35 million in 2018 and an $870 million construction loan in 2020 for the tower's development. Supporters view the project as a step forward in modernizing Boston's skyline, attracting investment and potentially stimulating economic growth. They argue that high-profile developments like this can enhance infrastructure and position the city as a more competitive urban center. Regardless of public opinion, the scale and engineering complexity of this tower make it a landmark addition that could help shape Boston's skyline and development trajectory in the years to come. At Buildcore, we're building America, one story at a time. We cover some of the most impressive and headline-grabbing projects across this great country. And with your help, the channel has grown to almost 30,000 subscribers in just over a year. With that being said, thank you, and I'll see you next time.